What's up, Broncos country? The bombshell just dropped, and you won't believe what's happening inside the Denver Broncos locker room at this very moment. 5 players from our family are sweating bullets because today could be their last day, wearing orange and blue. Folks, we're talking about the most decisive preseason game, the final showdown against the Saints in New Orleans, where some of our Warriors are literally playing for their careers. This isn't an exaggeration, people. Sean Payton isn't messing around when he says a single play can determine who stays and who goes. And you know what gives me chills? The coach told an anecdote that will make you understand the pressure these guys are living through right now. Stay with me, because this situation is more tense than a fumble on the final down. Imagine for a second, you wake up today knowing that in a few hours it could be the end of a lifelong dream. That's what these 5 Warriors are feeling right now. Hearts pounding, hands sweating, thinking about every move they've made throughout this entire preseason. People, you know Sean Payton. The guy is surgical, calculated, and doesn't waste a single word. But this week, he did something different. He told the players about a guy named Bashir Livingston, a complete unknown who played just 2 seasons for the Giants back in 1999 and 2000. Listen to this. It was the final week of the '99 preseason, 1 spot left on the Giants' initial roster. Livingston was just another undrafted player fighting for a dream. The guy had worked all year, sweated blood in practice, given everything he had, but was still on the bubble. Sound familiar, Broncos country? Then, out of nowhere, on a play that could have been just another routine kickoff return, Livingston exploded. The guy returned that ball for a touchdown like his life depended on it. And, man, it really did. Payton was there as quarterback's coach and witnessed the entire decisive meeting with legendary Giants owner Wellington Mara. Imagine the scene. Tense meeting room, coaches discussing every name, every position, deciding the future of dozens, of families. It would be hard to take points off the scoreboard, Mara said, and that was it. A simple phrase, but it changed everything. Livingston secured his roster spot. One play, people, one play completely changed the guy's life. And why did Payton tell this story? Because he wants our Warriors to understand. Today against the Saints, any play could be the play. Any spectacular interception, any demolishing sack, any explosive run could be the difference between achieving the NFL dream or having to go back home. That's why this game isn't just another preseason game, family. It's the final court where dreams are realized or shattered. Now let me talk about the first Warrior whose heart is in his hands, Audric Estime. Man, what an emotional roller coaster this kid is living. Remember when Estime arrived as a 5th round pick last year? Expectations were sky high. The impressive physique, the power back mentality, that tackle-breaking ability that made us dream of devastating yards after contact. And you know what hurt the most? The guy managed some important runs on a team that went 10-7, a historic campaign for us. Estime was there contributing, showing he deserved to be on the field. But then, when crunch time came, in the playoffs against Buffalo, the guy wasn't even activated. Imagine the frustration. This preseason has been a constant struggle for him. 41 yards on 17 carries, numbers that definitely don't impress anyone in the front office. And worse, Tyler Beatty is right there, breathing down his neck, showing more consistency, more explosion, more confidence. Estime's problem isn't lack of talent, folks. The guy has the perfect physique for short yardage situations, those moments when you need someone to break through the defensive wall and secure the first down. But he's not finding the interior holes with the consistency Sean Payton demands. And you know how demanding Payton is. The guy doesn't forgive inconsistency. If you're not executing at the level he expects, it doesn't matter if you were a draft pick. Your spot is at risk. What does Estime need today? A Livingston moment. He needs a run that makes everyone in the stands jump up, that makes coaches look at each other and say, "Man, look at that." He needs a touchdown that reminds everyone why he was getting touches on a playoff team at the end of last season. What do you think, Broncos country? Do you believe Esteem can turn it around today? Now let's talk about a fascinating situation. Caleb Lohner, this guy is literally a giant, 6'6", that Sean Payton wants to transform into the next Jimmy Graham. But the reality is more complicated than it appears. Lohner is a seventh-round pick who has played very little football in his life. And that's not necessarily a problem. The NFL loves these project athletes with absurd physical upside. The problem is the learning curve. In the last game against the Cardinals, what happened? 3 penalties. 3. And look, he's only caught 1 pass the entire preseason. When Sean Payton says publicly, "We need to start functioning," you know the situation isn't good at all. But listen to this. During practice, Lohner has shown brilliant flashes. As a receiver in the middle of the field, the guy has sure hands and uses his size to create separation. As a blocker, he's shown willingness and is learning the techniques quickly. The dilemma is time, folks. The tight end room is absolutely packed. We have established veterans, we have other talented young players, and Lohner is competing not just for a spot, but for developmental time. If he can't get an explosive performance today, he'll probably end up on the practice squad instead of the main roster. And that's not necessarily bad. Many great NFL tight ends develop that way. But for a guy who dreams of contributing immediately, it must be frustrating. What does Lohner need to show today? Discipline. He needs to play clean, without silly penalties. He needs to show he can execute routes with precision and can be reliable in important situations. 1 or 2 clutch receptions could completely change the perception of him. Family. We've reached a situation that's pure cruel math. Eyoma Uwazurike is in trench warfare for the last defensive line spot. The question hammering in the coaches. Heads is simple. Will the Broncos keep 7 defensive linemen? Theoretically, it's possible, but in practice, with all the other roster needs, it gets complicated. Uwazurike is in hand-to-hand combat with Jordan Jackson, and honestly, neither has been able to separate himself from the other throughout this entire period. Both are 27 years old. Both have contribution potential. Both bring different elements to the game. But here's Uwazurike's problem. He's been less consistent in games, committing some silly penalties this preseason. And look, it would be extremely painful for the front office to cut a 4th-round pick from 2022. That would be admitting they were wrong in their initial evaluation. The defensive line is already packed with talent. Zach Allen as an established pass rusher, John Franklin Myers bringing versatility, DJ Jones being the anchor against the run, Malcolm Roach as reliable rotation, Saivion Jones, that's a lot of quality competing for few spots. Uwazurike needs to dominate the trenches. Today against the Saints, he needs to show he can be disruptive against the run, that he can pressure the quarterback in passing situations, and mainly that he can execute without mental errors. A dominant performance today could be the difference between continuing the NFL dream or having to look for opportunities with other teams. Sam Ehlinger is in a situation that's both frustrating and hopeful. Broncos country. Look at the guy's numbers this preseason. 20 of 26 passes completed, 217 yards, 1 touchdown. These are numbers that scream, this guy deserves to be on some NFL roster. The accuracy, decision-making, game management ability, everything is working. But here's the dilemma. He's definitely not taking the backup spot from Jarrett Stidham. Stidham has Sean Payton's complete trust, knows the system like nobody else, and has already proven he can step into the game if necessary. So the question keeping Ehlinger up at night is, do the Broncos value him enough to keep 3 quarterbacks on the initial roster? Because that's literally what's at stake. We're talking about the difference between earning $1.3 million full on the active roster or just a few $100,000 on the practice squad. For a player who has a family to support, that's a gigantic difference. What's interesting is that Ehlinger has shown leadership qualities in practice. The guys like him, he knows the offensive system well, and in emergency situations, he could come in and not sink the team. But roster spots are precious, family. Each spot represents a strategic decision about how to build the team in the most competitive way possible. What does Ehlinger need today? To keep showing that steady hand that has characterized his play. If he can get some impressive drives against the Saints' defense, he might convince the staff it's worth keeping 3 quarterbacks, and we come to the most complicated situation. Of all, Damari Mathis practically has no path to the roster right now, and the reason is both frustrating and makes us proud. Why is there no room? Because our cornerback group might literally be the best in the entire league. Pat Surtain, too, as an elite shutdown corner, Riley Moss showing consistent development, Jaquan McMillian bringing versatility, Jahdae Barron as a promising rookie, Chris Abrams drain. It's a murderer's row of talent. Mathis, who was a 4th-round pick in 2022 with proven experience, 65 tackles and 7 deflections in his rookie year, has been gradually pushed aside as the group evolved, and that hurts because the guy has real talent. But as Sean Payton brilliantly said, these guys understand it's not just about the position on this team. You're creating tape for the other 31 teams. In other words, Mathis might be playing today to get a trade or to catch the attention of other teams that desperately need a corner with NFL experience. Hey, before I continue, if you're real Broncos country and want to follow every move, every decision, every play that could change our family's destiny, subscribe to the channel now. Hit the bell because today is going to be historic and you can't miss any detail of the post-game analysis I'm bringing. Family, now I want you to stop and think about the human side of all this. These aren't just names on a front office spreadsheet. They're human beings with families, dreams, financial responsibilities. Imagine Audric Estime calling his mom this morning. What did he say? Mom, today might be my last day as a professional player? Imagine the emotional weight of that. Think about Caleb Lohner, a guy who literally changed sports to pursue this dream. He left a potential basketball career to bet on football. Imagine the pressure of justifying that decision today. Sam Ehlinger has been cut before, already knows what it's like to get that call saying it wasn't his time. Will he manage to avoid going through that again today? And Uwazurike, a 27-year-old guy who knows opportunities aren't infinite in the NFL. Each year that passes, it gets harder to convince teams you still have upside. Mathis has the additional pain of having proven he can play at this level, but being pushed out by pure, superior talent around him. These guys are going to take the field today carrying much more than just sports expectations. They're carrying family hopes, financial security, personal validation, all of that in a 60-minute game. And behind all of this is Sean Payton with his relentless philosophy of meritocracy. The guy doesn't look at where you were drafted, doesn't care how much money the team invested in you. He wants to know just one thing. Can you help the Denver Broncos win games now? This mentality is both cruel and necessary. It's cruel because it ignores individual circumstances, different development curves, external factors. But it's necessary because the NFL is a results business. Payton has already shown he has no problem cutting draft picks who aren't performing. He's already proven he'll give opportunities to undrafted free agents who show more in practice and games. This is the reality of the modern NFL, Broncos country. There's no sentimentalism, no favoritism based on past investment. There's only one question: who gives us the best chance to win? Technically speaking, what each of these guys needs to show today is very specific. Estime needs to show running vision. He needs to find those cutback lanes he's been missing, needs to show that between the tackles power that got him drafted, Lohner needs to execute clean routes, show sure hands, and mainly play without penalties. A clean performance might be more valuable than a spectacular performance with mistakes. Uwazurike needs to dominate individual matchups. He needs to show he can win his one-on-ones both against the run and in pass rush situations. Ehlinger needs to manage the game efficiently. He doesn't need to be a hero. He needs to be reliable. Some clutch third down conversions would be ideal. Mathis needs to show coverage skills and special teams value. If he can get a spectacular interception or pass breakup, he might generate interest from other teams. Folks, I'll be honest with you. This situation gives me mixed feelings. On one hand, it's exciting to see healthy competition within the team. That means we have real quality depth. On the other hand, it hurts to see Warriors who gave everything for orange and blue having to fight for one last chance. My predictions? I think Ehlinger convinces the staff to keep 3 quarterbacks. The guy has been too consistent to be ignored. Estime is in a 50-50 situation. If he gets an explosive run, he stays. If not, Beatty takes over for good. Lohner will probably go to the practice squad, but that might be best for his development. Wazurki and Jackson. One of them is going to be disappointed. Today, Mathis. Man, I think it's hard for him to stay here, but he might get interest from other teams. So, Denver Broncos family, can you feel the emotion that's happening right now? 5 Warriors woke up today knowing their lives could change completely in the next few hours. This is what makes the NFL so special, so brutal, so exciting. There are no guarantees for anyone. It doesn't matter where you were drafted, how much money you make, how many people believe in you. In the end, it's you against the field, you against the clock, you against your own limits. Today, these 5 guys are going to find out if they have what it takes to survive at the highest level of American football. Some will celebrate, others will cry, but all will know they gave absolutely everything they had. Which of these 5 Warriors do you think will get the spot? Who's going to have the Livingston moment today against the Saints? Will Esteem find that perfect hole? Will Lohner show why Peyton compared him to Jimmy Graham? Will Uazurik dominate the trenches? Will Ehlinger manage the game perfectly? Will Mathis make a statement play? Below with your predictions. I want to know what Broncos country is thinking about these impossible decisions. And don't forget, right after the game, I'll be back here with complete analysis, all the roster decisions, who stayed, who got cut, and what it means for our team in the regular season. Hit that like button if you're as anxious as I am to see this drama unfold. Share it with all your Broncos family friends and prepare your hearts because today is going to be emotional. Until then, Broncos country, may the best win. May our family get even stronger, and may these Warriors show why. They deserve to wear orange and blue. See you on the other side of the emotion. Go Broncos!